You found yourself on another episode of Locked on Bulls. In today's episode, me and Pat are going to discuss Jimmy Butler and Lauri Markkanen thriving elsewhere. Billy Donovan being on the hot seat? No, he's not. And was Alex Caruso sub from our all-defensive team? We're getting to all that and more right after this.
You are Locked on Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked on Bulls, member of the Locked on Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed at Game Time. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over on ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. Pat, let's get into it, man. I don't know how in tune you've been with Chicago Bulls social media over the last 24 hours, bro. But it's been a calamity, bro. Like it's just it's been weird. It's been weird. So Jimmy Butler had a 56-point game leading the Miami Heat to victory. They're now 3-1 over the Milwaukee Bucks. And then Lauri Markkanen winning the Most Improved Player of the Year award. And so it has definitely sent Sky is Falling Bulls fans down a very dark path there, brother. How you feeling about Jimmy Butler and Lauri thriving with where they are right now?
As far as Lauri, right, I've maintained it. Lauri wasn't healthy when he was here. He finally got an opportunity to get healthy. We knew Lauri could play. It sucks that we didn't hold on to him and let him deal with all his health issues. But those same Bulls fans would have been like, hey, why are we keeping this guy if he's unhealthy, right? Like we were trading Kobe White last season. Now we're talking about he's a piece you can't get rid of. It's the ups and downs of the NBA, basically. Jimmy hurts. I'm not gonna lie to you. Jimmy hurts because to me, everything that we've asked for in Zach LaVine and/or DeMar DeRozan to be, that's Jimmy. So that one hurts to me because I feel like, right, Jimmy. I mean, if you pay him the money, if you say. Right, like, and it's also the fact that they basically the thought process around Chicago was that you're never going to win a championship with Jimmy Butler. And while you may not win a championship, clearly this dude wins and competes and gets you to that next level and takes your team to levels that you didn't expect them to get to on a consistent basis. He's now been to 2 ECFs, been in how far did they get in the West? Second round? Just the second round, I think. Just the second round. But with the Timberwolves team that everybody was kind of like, what the heck are you doing here? And then, I mean, like, Jimmy to me is the one that I look at and I'm like, wow, Jimmy would be nice on any Bulls team that we've had since then.
Well, the issue wasn't even just that they didn't feel they could build a champion. They can build a championship team with Jimmy. It's that Garpax literally said, we don't know how to build around Jimmy, and then proceeded to be able to keep their job for 3 years after that. Like just imagine this. Imagine as much as we talk about, people talk about Jerry Krause. Jerry Krause built a pretty solid set of
six rings.
But imagine after Michael Jordan got eliminated by the Detroit Pistons, the second time?
Yes.
Imagine if Jerry Krause said, I don't know how to build around this Michael Jordan guy. Let's trade him away.
I wouldn't say it's even magnitude, but I do get the point. I get the point.
Greatest of all time, but I'm just saying.
I get the point.
Just imagine that, right? Or imagine, it could have came. Was that going to be the eventual path of Derrick Rose too if he didn't get hurt? Like, it's just the fact that the incompetence of.
Well, we know they didn't know how to build around Derrick. That's the problem. Just give me a shooting guard. You finally got Derrick a shooting guard, and then you were like, all right, let's get everybody out of here.
No, well, remember they got him a shooting guard in Marco Bellinelli, but then Derrick Rose couldn't stay healthy, and then they paid the luxury tax that one season, and they said, oh, everybody got to go.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But it's just That's the biggest thing that hurts about the Jimmy Butler of it all, right? Is the fact that we had such an incompetent front office that at that time saw a one of the best two-way players in the league at that point, still fairly young, and said, "Hey, we don't know how to build around him. We're about to ship him off." Keep in mind, they almost shipped him off the season before for Chris Dunn straight up.
Yeah. And your assets haven't equaled out. That's the problem, right?
That's crazy.
You're talking about Chris Dunn, who I wouldn't mind back on this team because of his defensive ability. Lauri Markkanen, who's now most improved player, and Zach LaVine, who's a question mark. Two of those three are no longer on the team. One of the guys is now most improved out in Utah, and the other one that you traded, or the one that you traded away, just put up 56, and just continues to win, right? Like it is pure ineptitude. Because Jimmy hasn't won, it's probably not, but it's got to be on the top 10 for worst trades in Chicago sports history. It's probably not top 5. But it's got to be top 10.
You said Chicago, so not just Bulls. Yeah, there's been some bad
trades.
There's
been some dumb trades in Chicago.
Most of them, a lot of them involving Jerry Reinsdorf-owned teams as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, White Sox, Bulls. It's pretty much most of them. It's most of those. Pace is still number 1, though.
Oh, yeah, Pace.
Well, Pace trading up for Mitch is definitely number 1.
Bro. The funny thing is you didn't even have to trade up for him.
Nah, you could have got him in the second round.
You could have got him.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But to me, that's a top 10. That one, Jimmy on this team this year, probably, or some iteration of this team, probably wills this team to win. And I think Jimmy is a player that you could build around. The real question is, though, if Jimmy continued to have success here, we still probably have guard packs. Is that what you want?
See, no, I think it still would have gotten, because keep in mind, the only reason it took John Paxson to go to ownership and say, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. I think that still would have happened eventually.
I don't think it was John. I think it was Michael, just like, hey, bro, like, well, first off, the All-Star game happened. Once the All-Star game happened, and he started asking owners around the league, like, what do y'all really think of the Bulls? And they were like, we laugh at you. He was like, all right, we got to make some changes. All of a sudden, John got promoted to the head of pencils up in the front office out here. And the first thing he did,
Paxson came to them. Paxson is the one that suggested a tours to them.
Paxson did come to him and say, hey, listen, there needs to be a change here.
Yeah.
But I think that's because John is he's got to still be one of them loyal guys. He probably didn't want to go to old Muppet face and just be like, hey, bro, I got to let you go.
No, you know what it was? It's that John knew that the Reinsdorfs is still going to pay him regardless.
They're going to pay him.
Like, he's good. Like, he's good.
You know what I say this. You know what I can't stand Jerry Reinsdorf the most for? All of my favorite athletes, for the most part, guys that have hit some of the biggest shots, been someone in some of the biggest moments in Chicago sports history, he's just destroyed them by making them a part of the front office or making them coaches. Or just, that's the one thing I can't, bro. Like, I hate Robin Ventura. I love Robin Ventura. I hate this man. I love him, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's really that right now, bro. Like, John Paxson hit a championship-winning shot. We talk about him like a dog.
The biggest question is in all of this is that, do you think that Jerry Reinsdorf files John Paxson on his taxes because that's his son? Do you think he carries him on his?
I don't know if he does a full-on claim. He might get half the year custody on him. I don't know how that works. I don't know if there's a split custody between him and Gar Foreman, but it is what it is. I don't know. I'm so sick of just the ineptitude and the how many times are we going to talk about the wrong decision?
A lot.
How many times are we going to talk about just the wrong decision? Just
I don't
why
know.
does it not work
but I can
out
tell
here?
you right now, you're getting into wrong decision territory because we got to do an ad read, brother.
You knew a rant was coming. You knew a rant was coming.
I can feel it. I can feel it coming. I was like, hey, that's definitely going to send us over our ad read time.
Jesus.
Before we let Pat get into his rant, and then we're going to get into Billy Donovan. Should Billy Donovan be on the hot seat? Got to talk to you guys about a couple of our sponsors. First up is Ultimate Pro Basketball GM. This is literally the best mobile game I've ever played in my life on my phone. And so if you've ever fantasized about being a basketball GM, Ultimate Pro Basketball GM is the game for you. The game allows you to manage every strategic aspect of a franchise, playing through seasons and leading your franchise and fans to glory as you build a historic dynasty. In the simulation, you're responsible for dealing with challenging personalities from your players and your coaches, hiring the right coaches and assistants, trading and training players, and making draft picks. You navigate your franchise through free agency and the draft and all the ups and downs of multiple seasons. Locked On Bulls listeners get a 100% free boost to the franchise when using promo code Locked On in the game store. So make sure to check it out. Download the game. Just visit probasketballgm.com, scan the code, or look it up on the app store of your choice. That's probasketballgm.com. Ultimate Basketball GM. Start your dynasty today. Now, we got another sponsor we also need to talk to you guys about. This one hasn't been on the show for a while. This is iBota. Groceries, school shopping, getting a little something for yourself. You know you're already doing it, so why not get cash back for it? We're always throwing money at something. Kids' school supplies, a new house project, the list goes on. It's time to stop spending your hard-earned money without getting anything in return. You can earn cash back on every shopping trip. iBota gives you cash back on hundreds of grocery items, from produce to personal care to pantry goods. Either link your loyalty account or upload your receipt after you shop and get your cash back. It's that easy. The average iBota users earns $120 per year in real cash back. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip. Or you could use your cash back to buy that flight you've been eyeing. I don't know what flight you're buying for $120 right now, but if you find it, get it. A typical basket of groceries was over $50 more expensive at the end of 2022 than at the beginning of the year due to inflation. You can earn up to 2.5 times that in cash back from iBota, or even more depending on how much you use iBota. You can earn cash back on hundreds of online brands and retailers too when you start iBota. Start with iBota using Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. Right now, iBota is offering listeners $5 for just trying iBota by using the code LOCKED when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free iBota app and use code LOCKED. That's iBota, iBotta, in the Google Play Store or App Store, and use code LOCKED. All right, Pat. I know I cut you off on a rant, bro. I know we got a topic, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and get into it, bro.
It's just the fact that, right, like every time a player ends up developing, it's not here. And whatever the sport is, dog, like Chicago as a whole, right? Like it's literally to the point where we talk about guys in every sport, all of a sudden they healthy elsewhere. All of a sudden, like I almost don't even care who the head coach is anymore. What's going on with our medical teams? What's going on with our training staffs? What's going on with our shooting coaches? What's going on with we talk about this every single year. Oh, what happened to him? Oh, he missed 30 games. What happened when he came back? He had no rhythm. And then we talk about these mugs that when they leave, like they world beaters. And we forget I will say this, the fans a lot of times forget the reason why. Right? Like a lot of these players end up getting moved on from. But I think the other problem is, right, especially with management, upper management, all of that, like when you look at this Bulls team, dog, the one thing that I can consistently say is I felt good about a lot of the people we've moved on from. If you find another guy that does that job. I was okay with moving on from Bobby Portis when you went out and got a Daniel Gafford. Because Bobby Portis wasn't Milwaukee Bobby Portis yet. We got to remember that too.
Yeah.
The problem was that you didn't develop Daniel Gafford to help him become Bobby Portis, and you got rid of him. It's the same conversation over and over again. I firmly believe this. I really think the Reinsdorfs have a motto that they're going to stick to. Jerry Reinsdorf is quoted as saying this, I believe, when it came to the White Sox. Second place is the best place to be. Because hope sells tickets. That's your owner. That's your owner. Now let's talk about the team.
All right, Billy Donovan.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have our answers to this one as well. It's just what you're talking about. We're going to ask, should Billy Donovan be on the hot seat? The reason why he's not going to be in the hot seat is because an extension was just signed, and Jerry Reinsdorf isn't going to pay him to go away. But outside of that, Pat, should Billy Donovan be on the hot seat? Well, how you feel? I know we had our conversation about Billy Donovan and got kind of heated, which listening back, we kind of were both saying different things. But that's brothers. We do stuff like that.
I feel like we started on one end of the argument, and by the end of it, we flipped and we're arguing the other side at the beginning. It was weird.
But I know everything isn't on Billy Donovan. Me and you both have been, more rational with saying Billy Donovan isn't a terrible head coach. He's not a bad head coach. He's a solid head coach. But it's not getting the job done here. Now, do you think that all things fair, do you think he should be on the hot seat?
Here's my thing with Billy Donovan. Should he be on the hot seat after one season of a team underperforming? No.
It's also a half a season where we won 8 out of 33 games.
That is a fact, but I mean, like we both went into that half a season saying, "Hey, listen, nobody's healthy. Yeah. The entire team's dead. It's DeMar and the rest of them. P. Will's just coming back trying to figure it out. Kobe White was awful, and no Zach LaVine. Vooch was there. I guess Vooch played a good chunk of that, but you were missing what Lonzo going out right was the real catalyst of this. I actually want to see how this team bounces back, or if they do anything to bounce back once they have the mindset of Lonzo may not be back for real. Like, if you go into this offseason and you do nothing to address the point guard position, I got real beef. Because at this point,
Okay, I'm going to throw a curveball to you on that one. If Vooch does leave in free agency and they go out and get a replacement starting center, but because of the money they had to spend on that, it is just running Kobe White now as your starting point guard, does that change how you feel about that at all?
We're back to the development conversation. Right? Because here's the thing. Are you running Kobe White as your, and I almost can deal with that because it means, but you have to make that decision now. Right? Because why did we see the improvement in Kobe White? Kobe got an offseason to work on something specific that improved his game, that made him a better player attacking the basket. You have to make that decision now so that Kobe White can start preparing in the offseason to be a point guard and start getting himself into point guard situations. Well, start getting himself into point guard play.
I'm gonna push back on that just a little. Not that I disagree with you, but I think Kobe needs to do that regardless. I think he needs to be attacking this offseason that he's coming out as the starting point guard. That's how I would like to see Kobe attack his offseason, regardless of what this Bulls team does.
The thing is, right, Kobe's been everything for this team. Kobe's been a 1. He's been a 2. He's been a 3. Like, you know what I mean? Like 6'5" and hair alone. You know what I mean? So for me, right, like I look at what Kobe White is, and I say, do I think that Kobe's a really nice, has turned himself into a really nice scorer? I do. I think the second half of the season was really good for him. But going into this offseason, right, is he improving himself as a scorer, or is he improving himself as somebody that can run this offense?
Do both. I'm going to quote Kobe.
I mean, hey, listen, I'm with you on that. But if my role is going to be more so, now I will say this: Kobe had a role with the ball in his hand a lot more this season. So I do agree with you. Maybe focus on figuring out Billy's system down to a T, running this system a little bit more, pushing the tempo a little bit more, becoming a better passer. But it's never going to be what we once saw. It's still on Billy. It's still on the coaching staff. So to me, right, like, should Billy Donovan be on the hot seat in these situations? I'm not there yet, but I want to see how you adjust off of this, because I really do believe they thought Lonzo was coming back. And that was I really believe, like, I think only ones that were like, he's not coming back was us.
Yeah,
when they put January on there, you was spot on,
bro. I really do think, and that's one thing that I did take away from AK's pressure. He honestly did think that Lonzo Ball was coming back this season, and we can talk about how right or wrong that is all day long, but that's what he thought. And now it seems like he's coming to he's not. We've gone over the stats of the surgery. That surgery takes, at minimum, for regular healing, 18 months, much less coming back at high level. On top of that, Lonzo being somebody who's always healed slow from every type of surgery he's ever had.
Yeah.
So
you're realistically talking about him possibly coming back at the beginning of the 4th year of his contract.
Yes. He has 24 months left on his contract, and he's facing an injury that the recovery time is looking at about 18 to 20 months.
Yep.
You have to start planning a future without Lonzo.
I mean, listen, you have a future. You have to start planning everything without Lonzo. And if Lonzo comes back and give you anything, kumbaya, we love it, right? But like, you're not there yet. And whatever ability he does have, whatever ability you hope he has, the biggest ability he hasn't had his whole career is availability. So to me, right, like these are the moments where I want to see how the Bulls bounce back. I do think people kind of forget, especially dealing with Billy Donovan, that Billy Donovan's first losing season was last season, or 2 seasons ago, I should say.
His first season with us, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at his second season, we were a winning franchise when everything was in a perfect situation, though, right? And I think you also, to me, I also say look around the NBA, and here's what you don't want to do. We have a 40-win team right now. You don't want to Fred Hoiberg this. Actually, Fred had a couple of 40-win teams too. You don't want to Jim Boylan this. Fred made the playoffs twice. You don't want to Jim Boylan this, right? That's really what it comes down to. You can't be in a situation, excuse me, where Billy Donovan is
in a
right?
Coaching conundrum.
It's a coaching tizzy out here. You know what I mean? You can't be in a situation where you're saying Billy Donovan's not the answer. So let's go out and get X, Y, and Z. And now you're talking about winning 32 games next season. Moving backwards is what this team does best.
I mean, I tell you what, though, if we go from a 40-win team to a 32-win team with a first-year head coach, I don't look at that as a negative.
I don't look at it as a positive.
It's not a positive either.
I don't look at it as a positive. You know what I mean? And I don't look at it as standing pat, because here's the thing. I know if you put winning players in Billy Donovan, he's won. We're not even talking about like top of the, you know what I mean? Like even when Russ was out for a little while, OKC still won games. Even with changing situations, OKC still won. I get the players that were there, Hall of Famers, future Hall of Fame, all of that. I get it. Find some future Hall of Famers. That also goes into it.
That's what we do. Hey,
that also goes into it.
The same goodwill we dropping Marko Simonovic off here, we just gonna find a couple of Hall of Famers. That's what we gonna do. Go ahead, bro.
Dust them off, bro. Dust them off. Come on. Hey, man, we got to tell you guys about Game Time, man. We appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with us as always. And here's the thing about Game Time, man. It's the place for the last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. You can get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever you want. The Game Time guarantee will still be there, man. What does that Game Time guarantee mean? You'll always get the best price. If you find the ticket in the same section or row for less, Game Time will credit you, hear this now, 110% of the difference. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. Get images of the seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect. You're not sitting behind a pillar at the NCAA tournament when they got you up in the sky, or what was that? What's that one NCAA game they do every year where it's in like a football stadium and Muggs just sitting like all the way in like heaven, basically watching the game.
Are they still doing that?
Yeah, bro, they did it last year. I think Barstool was there.
Oh wow!
So,
I thought they stopped that after COVID.
Bro, hey, it's still there. You want to see your seat? That's what you can do over on Game Time. Tickets are sent directly to your phone. You never have to dig through your email, which is even nicer, bro. That's always the worst too. You got to go find the email, pull that mug up, show it to the guy. Come on now, you're holding up the line. Snag tickets without the stress with Game Time. You can download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
All right, Patrick.
I don't like that.
I love it when I do that.
I don't like that.
I love it when I do that.
I'm gonna bring your name to the podcast. You ain't gonna like it no more.
Hey, I have one of the most unique names in history. I'm not even worried about. I've actually thought about dropping Haize and just start using my name at some point, but I don't feel like people murdering it. But it is what it is there.
Corduroy.
Exactly, bro. You know how many times I got Conrad and it's like, You just added letters that aren't even there. Like, what? But
I'm calling you Conrad from now on.
Brian, I swear to God, every time you call me, I'm hanging up on you. I'm going to do the DeMar DeRozan. I'm hanging up on you, calling right back. That's what I'm pump faking on the phone. But anyway, bro. With that said, man, Alex Caruso, do you feel like he was snubbed when it came to the all defensive team?
I feel like this goes back to the Billy Donovan hot seat question because when Alex Caruso guarded twos, yes, he spent a lot of time playing power forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, this is true.
I can't say that you were snubbed when, yes, I will say this, defensive rating wise, looking at some of the other people that were on that list, sure, we can talk about him being snubbed. We can talk about what he did and didn't bring to a game, right? But at the end of the day, here's the thing. I can only base it off of what I've seen versus the competition you were going up against. There's a lot of big men. They went over you a lot. But, I mean, realistically, when we saw him guard two guards, he looked like one of the best defensive players in the NBA. It's all about being in the right position, and I don't think Alex Caruso was in the right position most of the season.
Absolutely, so I did over on Central. I did my player evaluation for Alex Caruso, and I gave him a C- for, and a lot of that wasn't him, right? A lot of that stuff was him being thrust into multiple situations that aren't him. A, he's playing power forward. That's not his natural position. B, because we don't have very much shooting, we needed him to hit shots. And he honestly shot his career averages this season. He didn't do anything lower than what his career averages are. He just had to play a role that we did not necessarily bring him in here to play. And I completely agree with you. You move Alex Caruso to where he can guard ones, twos, and threes. You're getting a defensive player of the year effort, period. You're getting that from him. So
yeah, and I mean, I think that's the thing when you look at it realistically, right? Like we came into the season talking about Alex Caruso's improved 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
Why? like, what did we really expect him to improve? Did we think Alex Caruso in year 5 was going to become a 38% 3-point shooter?
I mean, now watch this. You said that next season's going to become a 38%.
Do it. I love when people prove me wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I'd love to have it, but realistically, right, that's not what we paid Alex Caruso for. I love when Mudds is just like, he's not worth the money. He is if you give him the task that you paid him for.
Brought him in here to do.
It's like somebody buying a blender and trying to use it to hammer nails in and being like, man, this wasn't worth the money. It is if you blend stuff.
That was better than the analogy I was going to come up with because it was going to get us canceled off Locked On. I'll let y'all think about what that was going to be.
It's better than if you...
No, you'll figure it out once, and you're going to call me in the middle of the night and be like, "Hey, I got it."
Just wake straight up out of my sleep. Mug.
When you look at Alex Caruso, for his career, he's a 42% field goal shooter. He shot 45% last season. For his career, he's a 36.5 3-point shooter. He shot 36.4. He did what you paid him to do. It's just that you had him in a position that's not his position. And I've said this before, and this isn't to shame anybody or anything, but for the people who don't actually watch Bulls games, they will never understand the impact of Alex Caruso because his impact is hard to read on the stat sheet. It just doesn't come out that way. Well, and it's even harder to read when you have him guarding 6'10" guys, and he's he's listed as 6'5". I don't believe that at all.
Yeah.
So
I think it's you saw it in, who did we play first in the play-in? We played Miami second. Who was the first team that we actually put out? You saw it in the Raptors game. You saw it in the Raptors game. When he was on Pascal went right over the top of him, moved him out the way. When he was on Van Vliet was stuck. When he was on Gary Trent didn't have an impact. That's what you want from an Alex Caruso. And when you bring him here, you pay him whatever it was, $82 million or whatever it works out to be over 5. That's the impact that you get if you allow him to play that role.
Yeah. And when
Bro, I swear, I thought you fell asleep on the stream. Bro.
No, never.
I'm
processing. You know what it is?
I thought you fell asleep on the stream. I'm not going to lie.
Because I'm trying to stop being the frustrated Bulls fan this offseason. I'm just trying to get that energy off me. I've been real frustrated with a lot of this. Like, just thinking back to how this season went has gotten me more frustrated than what I was during the season. And I almost said something, and I was like, I don't really want to be that guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy right now.
Yeah, it's the offseason. Be that guy.
I'm sure I'll be that guy at some point in time.
It's a long offseason, man.
It's a long offseason.
Will we have a draft pick? Probably not.
Probably not. Probably not. You know, we'll talk about that tomorrow too. We'll talk about what the Bulls should do if they do get lucky in the draft. But yeah, when it comes to Alex Caruso, when it comes to just a lot of the Bulls play, I just really hope that whatever we do with this roster, it just makes more sense. And but you still got to trust Billy Donovan to play it if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we had our backup big man that can get you a double-double with 18 to 20 minutes off the bench. And some games he couldn't play 8.
The tough part about that is half on Billy, half on Drummond.
No, that's what I'm saying. And like we've always said, everything that I say come with the baseline of it's not all on Billy. It's not all on the players either. Because there were some – I'm sorry. As a head coach too, once I see you do your second Euro step into a missed layup, I'm going to sit you down too.
And a finger roll, throw it straight up at that. Bro. And that mud just come right back down, bro. You ain't even hit rim.
Bro.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That was a tough one, man. Hey, man.
I remember the time he went behind his back, and I was like, come on, Drummond. And then he made it. I was like, oh, wait.
Bro, and that be the thing, bro. Drummond's finesse skills is like golf.
Yeah.
Right? In golf, you can have 17 and a half holes of bad shots. But usually about that 18th hole, you get a hold of one that just keep you coming back. You hit one, that mug goes straight. All of a sudden, you can pitch that mug straight up in. You put that mug right in. You just be like, hey, man, I think I might have got it. I figured it out at the end of the last game. You get out there the next game, you be Euro stepping again. You be swinging that mug on the left. That's Drummond's game, bro. Every third game, Drummond hits you with a behind the back bacon wrap hezzy move that somebody bite on, and then all of a sudden he at the hand with a left hand lay at the rim with a left hand lay off the top of the glass over the outstretched hand of the center for the kiss in. Yeah, I mean, like that one. You'd be like, maybe he got it. He ain't got it. He ain't got it.
Oh my God, the frustration. See, look, I just said I didn't want to be that guy. All right, we're ending the show. We'll go ahead and wrap it up. Let's go ahead and wrap this up.
On the bright side, Russ might be a free agent in the next 3.5 minutes. Hey, man, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Appreciate y'all for showing love, and make sure that y'all hit up the mailbag and hit up the tweets so that we can get, because we're gonna do a bonus episode this week where we break down some special content, stuff like that, and all you guys' questions.
Absolutely. So make sure you get those mailbag questions in. You can email us. Also, the voicemail is in the description. But that's it for us for today. You can follow me at CEO Haize, CEO Haize. You can follow us collectively at Locked On Bulls. And thank you again for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. We are going to continue to be bringing that daily content to you every single day, even in the off season. And catch us on tomorrow's episode, in which we will talk about if the Bulls do get lucky with a draft pick, who should they draft? See you guys tomorrow. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This has been Locked On Bulls, man. We out, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.